Hello students, today we are going to discuss wedge and pulley constraint equations. So before I jump to the problems, let's quickly revise two key concepts. There are two concepts which you must always follow for the problems which are related to wedge and block, which is point number one. As you can see, that point number one, that the velocity of the block, this block, which is placed on this slope of the wedge. You have placed a block on the slope of wedge. So velocity of this block is obtained by vector sum of these two, right? Vector sum. Point A, it is the velocity of block relative to the wedge. Velocity of block relative to the wedge, which is parallel to the slope, right? And then the velocity of wedge, which is parallel to the surface on which wedge is placed. Which means if this wedge is moving forward with velocity say v, and this block slide down or slide up, let's say if this block slides down with some velocity v1, right? So v1 is the velocity with which this block is sliding down. That is my point number A. This velocity is known as velocity of the block relative to the wedge. So this v1 will be called as velocity of our block with respect to or relative to wedge. And this v is the velocity of wedge. That is my point number B. That is my B number point number B. This is the velocity of wedge, which is parallel to the surface on which wedge is placed. So we have placed the wedge on this surface, and therefore the velocity of wedge is parallel to this surface. Now this velocity, the velocity of this block, that is my first concept. If you want to find the velocity of block, you need to take a resultant of these two vectors. So I will draw one vector v and another vector v1. These two vectors are inclined at theta angle. So if you follow resultant of these two vectors, if you find resultant of these two vectors according to law of parallelogram, then this vector v will define as the velocity of block. This is my point number one. And this velocity of block, as per the law of parallelogram, you can write this equals to v square plus v1 square plus twice v1 cosine of theta. This is simply law of parallelogram. So always remember this concept, that the velocity of block which is parallel to the sloping surface, velocity of block which is parallel to this surface, is always the relative velocity, is always the velocity of the block with respect to the wedge. In order to find its absolute velocity, you need to take a resultant of a v1 with this velocity v. That is the concept number one. Another key concept before moving to the problems is finding relation between the wedge velocity. Notice that finding relation between the wedge velocity and the velocity of block relative to wedge. Velocity of the block relative to wedge, this is point A, velocity of block relative to wedge, which is always parallel to the slope. In practice, it is easier to find constraint equation between these two velocities. Instead of finding constraint equation between the absolute velocities, it is always easier to establish a relation between the absolute velocity of wedge and relative velocity of block. This is more easier in practice, right? What I want to say is that this absolute velocity of block, absolute velocity of the block is this vb vector. So we will not we will not write a relation between Vb and V. We will always write a relation between this V and V1, right? I will explain this point through some example now. So here is my first example, right? This is my first example. Let's say this block M, this wedge is going forward with velocity V. This wedge is moving forward with velocity V. And this mass is sliding upward. This mass is sliding upward, let's say with velocity V1, it is sliding upward. So the mass, so the velocity which is parallel to the wedge, is always defined as relative velocity. It is the relative velocity of the block. It is the velocity of this block in the frame of wedge. It is not the absolute velocity. And we will relate V1 with V, and that will be my constraint equation. You have to relate V1 with V. And how will we relate it? Well, so it's very easy. Notice that you have a string and you have a pulley. We will use the same concept which we discussed in the previous example. We have this pulley, right? And if you follow the diagram, we have this pulley now. Since the pulley is attached to this wedge, so if this wedge is moving forward with V velocity, naturally this pulley is also moving forward with V velocity. This pulley is going forward with V velocity. Whereas here the point of string is attached to the wall. It is at rest. It is 0 meter per second. So if the pulley goes forward and this point remains at rest, this portion of string increases at the rate of V meter per second. This length will increase at the rate of V meter per second. And if this length is going to increase, it must be compensated by a decrease in the length on other side of the pulley. Total length of the string has to be constant. So if length on one side of the pulley increases, then certainly the length on other side of the pulley must decrease by the same rate. So here we have 0 meter per second. This pulley is going forward with V meter per second. So this length will increase at the rate of V meter per second. So this portion of string must decrease in length at the same rate V meter per second, and because of that reason V1 must be V. And this is my constraint equation. I repeat, V1 is not the true velocity. It is not the absolute velocity of small m. Absolute velocity of small m will be the vector resultant of vector V1 and vector V. But that is not my goal at this moment. Now, move to the second question. Here the wedge is going forward with velocity V. Let's say this block B slides up with a V1 velocity. It slides up with a V1 velocity. This pulley is attached to the wedge. So this pulley will move forward with V velocity. This string is attached to the wedge, right? So if this string is attached to the wedge and wedge is going forward, certainly this point of a string is moving forward with V velocity, right? So this portion of string, this pulley is going forward with V velocity, right? And here the pulley is fixed. This pulley is attached to the wall. It is a fixed point. So here you are at a fixed point. Here we are at a fixed point. So if this part of string will increase because of this velocity V, and this portion of string will also increase because of the velocity V, and this portion of string is constant. So we have two portions, this upper part of a string and this lower part of a string. These two parts of string will increase in the length because of their velocities V and V, So there are increase in two segments. This segment will increase, this segment will increase, and both are increasing with the same velocity v. So total increment is because of a velocity which is 2 times of v. Therefore, the other length must decrease at the same rate, that is 2v. So you will write v1 is equals to twice of v. Next example, I have this example now. Wedge is going forward with v. Again, let's say b is going up with velocity v1. Now, this pulley is attached to the wedge, right? So here we have a velocity v in the forward direction. This pulley is also attached to the wedge. So this pulley is going in forward direction with a v velocity, right? Now, here you have a fixed string. This is attached to the wall. So this portion is going with 0 meter per second. This part of string is moving with 0 meter per second. What about this part? Let's say if I assume this portion is going with velocity v2. I assume that this part of string is traveling with v2. If you follow the previous concept which was discussed in the previous video for this pulley, I will draw that pulley separately. You have a pulley where this portion of string is moving with a v2 velocity, other side you have 0 velocity, and the pulley goes with velocity v. So you will write v2 minus a v plus 0 minus v equal to 0, and you get v2 equals to twice of v. That means this portion of string is moving forward with 2v velocity, and if this portion of string goes forward with 2v velocity, the upper portion will move left, since this pulley is fixed pulley. This is a fixed pulley attached to the wall. So if one side goes forward with 2v speed, the other side must go towards the left side with same speed 2v. Right? Now, be careful now. Here this pulley is going forward with velocity v. Let us focus on this top pulley which is attached to the wedge. This is the pulley which is attached to wedge. Say it is pulley P1. So my concentration is on pulley P1, where I have a string on this side, I have a string on other side. This portion of string is going to the left side with a 2v velocity. Pulley itself is moving to the forward direction with a v velocity, and here we have a block which is going upward with v1 velocity. Now this point which is moving to the left side with a 2v velocity, and this point which is moving to the right side with a v velocity. So separation between these two will increase at the rate of 3v according to relative velocity concept. One is going to the left side, other is going to the right side. So this portion of string will increase at a rate of 3v. This portion will increase at a rate of 3v, and if one side increases at the rate of 3v, the other side must decrease at the rate of 3v, and therefore v1 must be 3 times of v. Now this example. This wedge is again moving forward with velocity v, and we are interested in the velocity of block B. We are interested in this velocity of block B, right? Notice, let's say this is pulley P1 and this is pulley P2. Pulley P1 is attached to the wedge. So if the wedge is moving forward with velocity v, definitely this string will also move forward with velocity v, since it is attached to the wedge. This pulley P2 is also moving forward with the same velocity v as it is attached to the wedge. Anything which is attached to this wedge will have same velocity v. Now, if this pulley P1 goes forward, if this pulley P1 goes forward with velocity v, this portion of string will reduce, and this portion will reduce at a speed of v. So if this portion reduces at the speed of v, this vertical portion must increase at the same speed v, because if one side of pulley, if the length on one side of pulley decreases, the length on other side of pulley must increase with the same rate. Here the point is attached to the wall, so this point is stationary, whereas the pulley is approaching to that point, therefore this length is reducing, and if this length reduces, the other side length must increase at the same speed v, and if this side the length increases with speed v, the other side, on the other side, this portion of length, if here the string goes upward, on the other side the string must move downward, and therefore B will have a velocity v in this downward direction. But I repeat again, this velocity v which is parallel to this surface is not the absolute velocity of B. This is v which is the velocity of B with respect to, that is relative to A. If I want the actual velocity of B, absolute velocity of B, then absolute velocity of B can be obtained by adding this velocity vector which is in the downward direction and the velocity of wedge which is in the forward direction. That was my key point, key concept number 1. So if you find a resultant of these two, you will get v root 2 as the absolute velocity of this block B. Right. So these were the concepts and problems related to the wedge constraint equations, right, which are very, very essential, required for Newton's laws of motion chapter. If you are trying to solve any problem which is related to wedge, string and a pulley, these concepts will definitely help you. Hope your concepts are clear again, and still if there is any doubt, you can write or drop a message to me. Take care, stay at home, and all the best for JEE exam. Thank you.